Hello and welcome to video 60. This is me learning how to use the AKAI MPC Live 3 and passing on to you all my tips and tricks as I do so. In video 58 I was dealing with chopping up samples into slices, and Flip Miller 8816 on YouTube told me about another way of chopping up your samples, and that is using this 16 level button here. And that's the great thing about what I call the hive mind. All the lovely people out there in YouTube land who have got this machine and they're happy to share the things they know. And so thank you to Flip Miller, and I'm going to go through this today with you and show you how it's done. I always think the Live 3 is a bit like an onion. You keep peeling back layers and layers and finding more and more things. It's fairly unbelievable. I'm not sure I'll ever be finished making videos, but anyway, we'll see what happens. So first of all, I've got this new project with this drum kit on track 1, the usual thing. I'm going to change the bars to 8. I'm going to change the tempo to 140, and I'll do that for the sequence, and I'll do it also globally as well for all the sequences, just to be on the safe side. I'm going to load in my reggae drum loop that I've used a lot lately. I'm going to show you a new thing here as well. So I'm going to go to browser, I'm going to go to splice, I'll go to tag, open, change the alphabetical order so I'm on the other end of the alphabet, coming back to R for reggae, and here we are, open. Now the loop that I want is this one. You only heard 5 seconds there, but it is an 8-bar loop. Rather than press load, I'm going to press load to pull. Now, if I go to sample assign, you'll see that that sample, that loop has been assigned to the pull, but it's not yet on a pad. All the pads are empty. I'm going to put my finger on this sample and drag it to pad A01. Notice how it's lit there and there. Now, if I play it here, it's not touch sensitive. But if I play it here, it is. Right, so I've got this sample, it's on pad 1, nothing recorded to the sequence. Let's press sample edit, and this is the entire loop in trim mode. I'm not going to trim it up at the moment because it's fine. I'm going to press this trim button here to change this to chop, and now I'm going to make 16 chops the way I showed you in video 58. Starting with this pad here. And I've made my 16 chops there, 16 slices. Now normally at this point what I'd have to do to be able to use those chops that I've made to record into the sequence, I'd have to hold shift and convert, and then it would say new drum track using slices. I'd make a completely new drum track, but I'm not going to do that. Instead, I'm going to press 16 level. There are no lights here, but if I press the pads, they are playing the slices. Now, they're playing them in one-shot mode, which is what I don't want because it's going to make it rather awkward to record. So I'm going to go to edit. I'm going to change one shot to note on. So to play the entire slice, I'd have to hold my finger down. So I'm just going to get the front attack of each of these. Some of these aren't great, so I'm not going to use all the slices. So now I can go into record. Let's just come back to the main. So record arm is on. 8 bars. Let's check the metronome. Record and record, that's fine. So if I hold record and play start, I'll be able to record these pads into the sequence. So I've got that in. Admittedly, it's not the most exciting piece of music I've ever made. I haven't moved away from this track. I haven't had to make a new track to use those slices. Now if I double press the edit grid button, you'll see all of these notes are the same. They're all one note because this chop is all based on one pad, you see. If I press 16 level, it says pad A1. If I go to A2, there's nothing there, see? But I come back to 1 and I've got all those slices. So all those slices are from pad A1. So if we go to the grid, all the notes I've entered, although I've used different pads, because it's set to 16 level, all of those notes are the same notes. Now the disadvantage here is that you can only have 16 slices, but the good thing here is if you've got effects set on this first track that you want to keep, you don't have to reapply them to another track. Normally you would have to, like I say, in the sample edit mode you'd have to hold shift and convert, and then that would make a new track, but it would be a completely dry track without any of the effects you might have set on that first track, you see. So that's pretty good, isn't it? So that's the basic idea of using 16 level. You've obviously got to make the chops first, okay, using this. Let's just take this back to this screen here. So using this screen here where you've got the three, what I call the 3 pads, you've got to make your chops first, but rather than having to make a completely different track, this way it's all done within the same track. And obviously with this 16 level, if I go to edit, everything is set to note on at the moment. And if I were to change anything else, this is all global to all those chops, you see. So just be aware of that. By the way, 16 level, I haven't gone into this in any great detail yet. If I go to 16 level, I'm using type slice at the moment, but there are other types like tune. You hear the tuning is going up. There's loads here: velocity, tune, filter, layer, slice, which we're using, articulation, attack, decay, probability, ratchet. There's a lot there, aren't there? As I say, we've just used slice today. I'll go through those other ones another time. I don't want to go off at a tangent at the moment. Now we're going to develop this idea a bit more now. I'm going to load in another project that I did yesterday while I was working on this. So we'll go to menu, browser. If you're ever on this screen and you don't know how to get out of it, press sample assign and it takes you out. Let's go to the sample assign. I've got some samples here. This one here, I don't want. I'm going to clear this one. I've got 6 samples on 6 of the pads. These I've set to note on. This one, that's on one shot, that drum loop. This one, again, that is on note on. Most of these samples are from the Lo-Fi Jazz expansion, which I really like. So I've got this piano thing here, and I've got this float chord, which is lovely. This other keyboard thing. This bass, just a single bass note. This drum loop, that's not from there. And this guitar. The way you get a sample onto a pad is you get hold of it and you drag it over like that. Now that pad has got that sample on it. I actually don't want to use that, I'm going to clear that. So that's how you get your samples over from the sample pool into the pads. Let's look at the actual project here. I've got the bars set to 4, that's okay I think. I don't need any more than that. The tempo is 95, that's fine I think. Let's go to our pool again, shall we? You see all these are various tempos. If you've set the sample play to note on, okay, that's fine, because then if these are all set to note on, you're only getting the front part of the sample when you press. This one, get the whole lot. This one, just the front part. If I press play here, it goes to the grid. This is one I did earlier. You see I've used all these samples build this up again from scratch so you see how I did it. Now the joy here, of course, is that this is all one track. I've only got one track in this project, just this drum 001. And because I've got these different samples, I've got 6 different samples on these pads, and I've used this 16 level, I've been able to record all this on one track. So it's pretty powerful, isn't it? Obviously you haven't got the separation, so if you had a global effect on this track, it would be on all these pads. But don't forget, if you go to this, showing the pads, now each pad can have different send effects, different levels, so it's, you know, very powerful in that respect. So what we'll do is we'll go into the grid edit and we'll just hold shift, we'll select all and we'll delete. So I've got nothing in the sequence now, so we'll put something in. So I'll show you how I built this up. And the way this sample pool works is, think of these samples over here in the pool as the cupboard where you store all the ingredients you need to make today's meal. And then when you assign those samples to the pads, it's like you've got the ingredients out of the cupboard and then you're ready to cook, you see, with these samples on these pads. That's the way I think of it. There's a few stages here, isn't there? Obviously, if you go to menu and you've got, you know, something like samples, then you've got loads and loads of samples to choose from. You load those into the sample pool, and then from there you load from the sample pool into the pads themselves. It helps me to understand it in that way. It may help you as well. So I've got all these samples on these pads. So I've set the triggering, like I say, to note on, note on, note on. This one is one shot and this is note on. Using this drum loop, right, so I'm just going to record one note so that loop plays. Now that's in. Look at the grid, there it is down there. So that's that pad there, okay? Now if I use any of the other pads, then obviously I will be able to record those into the grid on a different note. So let's choose this sound here. Now if I go to 16 level, you can hear I've got some slices I've made here. If I go here, you'll see I've made 3 slices here already on this sound. Okay, go to 16 level. I've only got sounds on these first 3 pads because I only made 3 samples, you see. You must have this 16 level lit to be able to use this. Now, I'm going to record this in. If I record this in, I'm essentially recording pad 1. That's fine because the drum loop that I used before was on pad 5, so that's fine. So I'll press pad 1, 16 level, record and play, and I'm just going to put this in. Now one thing I've got to remember is to record using overdub, otherwise I'm going to lose my drum note, I'm going to lose my loop. So overdub, play, now. So I've now recorded that into the sequence. Right, not fantastic, but you can hear I've recorded the slices of this sample. These slices here, you see? Because in 16 level I had those. Okay, and it's that overdub you must remember to press. If you don't, you'll lose it and you'll have to undo it and try again. So let's come back to our main page. Turn off 16 level. Let's try another. Now, have I made any samples here? Let's have a look. No samples here. You don't have to make chops of this. So I can record this. As long as I use overdub, I'll be fine. So I'll just record a little bit of this in. That's gone in. Let's listen to that. that's fine. Now, no chops on this yet, so if I press this first pad here, I'll make a few little slices here. So now I've got those 4. Okay, so now if I go to 16 level, I've got nothing on that, didn't get as far as that. So these 4 are working here. So I can record those in now, can't I? Right, so we go to main. Now this sample here is in the wrong key, isn't it? So we need to do something about that. How do we change the tuning of just that sample there? That sounds better. I've brought it up 2 semitones. Right, I've brought it up to C minor. It should work okay now. Right, let's do this. Overdub. Right, so now we've got that. Okay, it's a bit of a mess, but you're getting the idea, aren't you? Let's come out of 16 level. There's our bass. We want to bring that up to C, don't we? We can go to 16 level. So I've changed the tuning there. Semi 3, fine minus 21. Go to the 16 level again. Change the chromatic to natural minor. And we'll hold overdub and play start. Okay, it's getting a bit messy, isn't it? But you can see there I used the 16 level and I set it to tuning rather than slice, and I put it on the harmonic minor, and in the edit menu I changed the tuning of the actual note. It is a bit of a mess, it isn't perfect, but I'm sure you're getting the general idea of what I'm trying to achieve here. We come out of 16 level, we've used all of those, we've used that, and up here we've got this guitar. Wonder what that's like. Have we got any slices on this? Overdub. Yeah, so it is horribly messy, but with some thought and some careful planning, I'm sure you can see what you can achieve. And look at this, I've only used 1 track. You see? I put this onto pads, so I've got 6 different samples on 6 different pads. So if I went to pad 1, I could put 4 effects on pad 1, 4 on pad 2, 4 on pad 3. You get the idea. So each pad carrying a different sample could have different effects on them, set to different volume levels, different panning levels. I haven't gone into that, of course, I haven't gone as far as that, but you can see it is a pretty powerful concept. And like I keep saying, it's only 1 track, which is fairly amazing. So hopefully you've understood that. It was a bit rambling, I know, I'm sorry, but I think I've got the point across. If you do have any questions about this, please come back to me and I'll see if I can help you. So if you got something from today's video, please give it a like and consider subscribing to my channel. If you'd like to give me some encouragement with all the work I do on YouTube, you can make a small donation either here on YouTube or on my website, which is www.daddylongles.com. Thanks very much for watching today, and you'll hear from me very soon, no doubt. Bye for now.